Welcome back to the broadcast studio. As always, we are so delighted to have all of you with us here on the live stream, coming to you in real time from the RAI in Amsterdam. We have just wrapped up another fantastic center stage session. Kelly Jones, our Senior VP and Chief People Officer, was joined by Jacqueline Carter, Senior Partner and Director of North America Potential Project. They were talking about unlocking human-centered leadership with AI. There is so much power and promise and potential around AI. And that means that leaders have this phenomenal opportunity to leverage AI as a tool to enhance the way that they lead. But what leaders really need to know is, how do we do the hard things in a more human way? AI can help with that. How do we harness the power of AI ethically, responsibly? Well, that's the job of a leader to figure out for their organization. In just a few minutes, we're going to have Kelly and Jacqueline right here in the studio, sitting right over there with our own Alpa Tankaria. They'll do a follow-up conversation and give you a little behind-the-scenes insight. Before we get to that, though, we are going to send it out to Cedric and our RF team, who are out at the Purpose Pavilion. Hey there, Cedric.
Hey, Steve. How's it going? I'm really excited to be here at the Purpose Pavilion, as you said. I would say giving back to the community is a very big part of our Cisco DNA. I don't know that much about it, although I do volunteer every year. But DC, who is with me right now, she is a senior communications manager, and she is our expert of purpose, right? So DC, how's it going?
Hi there, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. It's been quite a couple of steps from me today already, but
Nice.
it's good to stand in one place for now. What's happening behind us here? We have 40 years of Cisco innovation, but how does that link to our purpose?
Exactly. So we're celebrating Cisco's 40th anniversary, which is huge, but that also means we're celebrating Cisco's 40 years of impact. As you've seen in the sessions throughout the whole week, we use our technology to bridge gaps, positively impact communities, drive sustainability, and so much more. And this is all building up to and supporting our overall corporate purpose to power an inclusive future for all.
So what's happening behind us? This is a theater, and I've seen loads of people here earlier this week. It was really popular, but what kind of sessions are being hosted over here?
Yeah, we're covering a lot of different topics. So we're here in the Purpose Pavilion in the World of Solutions. We have a theater showcasing a bunch of speakers and subject matter experts across a variety of topics: sustainability, digital resiliency, social impact, public policy, and they all intersect with our technology and then also with our purpose.
Okay, that's one side of the Purpose Pavilion. There is another side as well, which is very interesting. Right, I think it has some.
Walk you through this area.
Let's do that. Let's do that.
So, in addition to the theater that we have behind us, we also have a give back activity for attendees to participate and get really hands-on. This is an incredible local organization called Shelter Suit, and what they're doing is we can help build and manufacture these products that give immediate shelter to those experiencing homelessness. So, it's similar to maybe a sewing class that you took earlier, and you cut out the fabrics and help them manufacture it.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much for that, DC. As you can see, I did a magic trick, going around the camera people to meet you on the other side once more. What is also really exciting, and that's behind me, is our Cisco Crisis Response Team. It's actually a team that basically, when something happens, let's say an earthquake or anything like that, they go in there the first there to kind of help us get everything connected again. And I have a good friend of mine, Matt, with me. Matt, how are you doing today?
Doing great, thank you.
Great. You are responsible for that crisis response unit team, basically. Can you tell us a little bit more, because there is a lot of interesting equipment behind us, but first let's get started with a really good explanation of what that is, because I think maybe mine was not as complete as yours.
No problem. So again, Cisco Crisis Response, we're a small team within Cisco that focuses on disaster and emergency response, external facing to Cisco. So there's about 12 of us that do this full time, and then we have about 800 volunteers who are other Cisco employees who will help out. And we help out in a lot of different ways. We help with technology, we help with people with technology expertise, as well as cash and product grant funding to nonprofits. So we'll go all over the world and help out. Typically it's going to be government, critical infrastructure, first responders, and nonprofits. And everything the team does is pro bono. So we have some of our solutions here we can take a look at. We have these different kit-based solutions that we can take all over the world. Sometimes we'll send them out and folks can set them up themselves if they have the expertise. We can also send a team. When I say I'm responsible for anything with blinky lights, boots on the ground, or wheels that turn. So in the US, we also have some trucks, the Nerve trucks, that will go out and provide connectivity.
So, Matt, how does it work when something happens? Like, how do you guys get like activated? Like, how does it come to you, and then how do you get everyone there? Because I would assume if it's kind of like like an emergency, like it might be hard to get there as well. So, like, how does that work?
Great question. So we're always looking at the news, monitoring current events, and the way we work is we do everything through partners and at the request of some of those kind of agencies that I talked about before. So when we see something happening, ideally we already have a relationship built and we can reach out and say, hey, we know you know about us, but here's a reminder of what we can do to help. If we don't have those relationships, the Cisco sales teams will help us with that outreach. And then we always try to have a conversation to say, what problem are you trying to solve? Because it's not just send me a truck, send me a kit. We say, hey, what connectivity do you need? How many users? What are they doing? And then we'll bring the right tools for the job. When it comes to actually going downrange, we have a lot of support from Cisco through our travel teams, a lot of back-end support, also security, making sure that our teams are safe out in the fields.
And I love that. Like, I work at Cisco. Some of you might know this. I just love it that we do that for the community, and that it's like the company is so supportive of bringing everybody together and basically trying to solve those disasters as quickly as possible. This is a lot of equipment behind us and so on, Matt, but I would like to hear a story of like a memory of what you have been involved in yourself and how our Cisco technology was able to show that impact and to basically get the world up and running again.
Man, there's so many of them. I've been on this team for 15 years because I absolutely love what I do. We'll talk about some of the more recent ones. So the wildfires in Los Angeles. Hurricane Helene was a big one in the U.S. Lots of communications impact. We actually sent 3 different teams downrange. My favorite part about that, so I'm the manager of the part of the team now. My favorite part about that is just seeing everybody in action, seeing how the team comes together and really works to solve problems. And we did it. I'm just so proud of the team and the amazing job bringing all the technology, establishing connectivity very quickly, being responsive to the needs. Hey, we need help over here, we need help over there, and we track all the sites. Where is it up? Where is it down? How do we bring what we need to do the right job?
And what's next, Matt, for this? Because I feel that you keep, 40 years of Cisco innovation. That means this kind of team, this kind of program has evolved as well.
Yes.
What's going to be the next thing that you're about to do, in terms of the next step?
I'd separate that out maybe into kind of 2 categories. So there's always the tech side of it, keeping basically abreast of current technology. Wi-Fi gets faster, 4G, 5G, 6G, low Earth orbit satellites, so being able to provide faster service and to more people. So that's kind of the second piece of it, which is expanding our impact. So when we're not going to disasters, we work on what we call capacity building. So we do a lot of training with other organizations, nonprofits, government, in how to do what we do. So basically expanding our impact. And there's nothing special about it from a networking perspective. It's just kind of the passion of the people behind the scenes that make it all come together.
Awesome, great. Thank you so much, Matt, for this. Also, on behalf of everyone at Cisco, our leadership teams, and everyone that you've touched, basically, thank you so much for what you're doing for the community.
I couldn't imagine doing anything else.
Awesome. We're so glad to hear that. A real hero. Thank you so much, Matt. Now, with that, we're going to go back over to the studio to Steve.
Fantastic. Cedric, thank you very much. Great job out there, as always. Thank you to DC in the Purpose Pavilion, and a special thank you to Matt with the Cisco Crisis Prevention Team. It's as always one of the most intriguing and hands-on and inspirational technical spots that we've got here at any one of our Cisco Lives, putting literal boots on the ground when and where they are needed most, showing exactly what Cisco is all about and the way that we protect communities at any time and at any point in the world. I love, love, love their story. So, as promised, our hosts from the last Center Stage session are now here with us in studio. We've got Kelly Jones, our Senior VP and Chief People Officer, along with Jacqueline Carter, Senior Partner and Director of North America Potential Project, with our own Alpa Tankaria. Alpa, I'm going to send it right over to you on the other side of the studio.
Thank you, Steve. I'm so excited to be joined here by you both, Kelly and Jacqueline. A very warm welcome to you. How are you both?
Thank you.
Great. It's been a great week.
Yeah, I'm great. It's so inspiring to be able to see in such a tech conference that we get to focus on being human.
Absolutely. And let's dive more into that. So we've been talking a lot about AI, right? So I'm really curious to know AI and leadership, and more specifically, get your views, Jacqueline, on what are some initial steps or best practices for integrating AI into our leadership approach?
Yeah, I think the first thing is just to recognize that so many people are looking at AI from a technical perspective, but not many people are looking at it from how it can enhance our leadership. And I think that's the first kind of pivot, is to start asking those questions. And the opportunity would be like, well, how can I be a better leader? What are some of my weaknesses? What are some of my limitations? And can AI actually help me as a companion to be able to support me, like whether it's being more effective in my communication, having a difficult conversation. So the key thing I think is really to look at it and be curious and then to start playing.
I love that. It's curiosity
Yeah.
and exploring and,
Yeah.
and knowing and untapping that potential.
Yeah.
And Kelly, I'd love to come to you next. What are a few personal ways that you use AI and this structure?
You know, it's interesting. I've actually been using the technology for a very long time. And I was having a conversation with someone the other week, and I think they were surprised, saying, "You're a chief people officer. Don't you know all of this stuff about leadership?" And the reality is, I feel like we talked about this on stage. Self-awareness is so important. It's such an important part of this. And so I use it as a tool all the time, because we can also have our own biases, you know, so being aware of those biases. And when you're able to ask it a question, I will sometimes use it to role play a scenario. You know, like if it's something I'm coming into a difficult conversation and I want to role play the conversation, I will actually use it for that and have it kind of speak back to me and help me think through things I might not have originally thought of. Particularly when delivering tough messages. You know, when you're delivering a hard message, it's the how do you deliver the hard message in a very human way. And sometimes I think in our desire to get the message across, we skip through that. And so if you start with that in the prompt, like I'm trying to deliver this message in a very human-centered way, you know, what are the things I should avoid? What should I not do in this conversation? It can be really helpful.
Oh, I love that. I wouldn't have actually thought of that. So thank you. That's also a great tip. Yes, did you want to add to that?
I can
Jacqueline?
add to that, because the other thing that you can do with AI is really leveraging its ability to know more than any human being, right? So in terms of like to build on Kelly's scenario, you can say things like, okay, I have a diverse team. I have people from these different cultures. I have people who have this neurodiversity. I have people that, you know, have in the past have this history. And again, like it can take all of those complexities that again are overwhelming for us as mere human beings and use that algorithmic potential to be able to say, okay, here's some things that you might not have thought about. And again, it's really not about whether you're an amazing experienced leader like Kelly, obviously, or a first-time leader that's, you know, just really new to the role. What we see is that across the board, there's always, I mean, leadership is tough, right?
Yeah.
There's always complexities. And AI, we can really use it. But at the same time, this is not about over-relying on AI.
Yes.
We need to make sure humans always need to be in the driver's seat.
It's the right balance. And actually,
Exactly.
what you've just said has just made me reflect. It's AI is actually opening up us to be more inclusive and accessible to everyone's unique needs.
That's exactly it, if we use it properly.
Yes.
Because I think that's what Kelly shared, is that on the other side of it, if we just let AI run the show, we could actually be in for a very dark, dismal, disconnected future. So I love what you said, and that's exactly it. It's the potential to help us to be able to be more inclusive, to be able to respond to diverse needs, things that, again, we as human beings would not be able to process, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. Good. Okay, so a final question for you both. Could you provide some examples of how AI has successfully been used by leaders to improve team dynamics and address common workplace challenges? So I'll come to you first, Kelly.
I can give a couple I've seen,
Yeah.
and then maybe I can pass it over. Some of the things that we are dealing with now with trying to connect these very globally diverse teams, I've seen leaders use it to come up with ideas of my favorite, I think, is like difficult deadlines where you have teams spread out all over the world, and how do I create this sense of community? You know, we're still very much hybrid. You know, we're in office sometimes, we're not in office all the time. And so this ability of creating community, it will generate ideas for that, which has been pretty powerful. I've seen leaders use it for ways to navigate conversations with people they don't know very well. You know, where they're trying to kind of get that rapport, and have actually asked the system to like, tell me, how do I build rapport with someone that is new and I'm trying to build trust and relevancy with this person? person.
It's
But
amazing.
I'd love to see what you.
I've seen so many examples. We could spend a lot of time on it, but I mean, exactly like you say, like basic team building things. You know, one leader said, create a game for my team to be able to help us to be able to enhance our ability to get to know each other better. Like I wouldn't have thought of that.
Yeah.
Or, you know, a simple example would be like I shared in terms of team dynamics, like having actually every member of the team, if they're comfortable, to be able to share, you know, their personality type. Like if organizations use a standard kind of personality test, whether it's, you know, Myers-Briggs or different things, and then we can actually say, okay, now wait a minute. I know you're an introvert and I'm an extrovert. How does that change the dynamics of our conversation? And that could actually be, okay, so if we're having a conflict, based on what you know about me, is there a way that maybe, you know, maybe this is just my introverted self, and it can help to be able to say, maybe when you have that conversation, you can have it in a different way based on, again, these standardized understanding of different personality types.
I love this. This is so inspiring. You're really giving some great tips, and to our viewers at home. This is brilliant. Thank you. And a closing thought from each of you. Is there anything that you'd like to leave our viewers with, perhaps?
Oh, I think the biggest thing for me is the future of leadership is deeply human leaders. So it's a little bit of a build on what you said earlier, but like I want to just emphasize it is incredibly important that we bring the humanity around these systems.
Yeah.
You know, we cannot let that fall. We're at a little bit of an inflection point where we need to make sure we keep the humanness in leadership.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I will double click on that, and I'll add that so many people are looking at what AI can do for you. Not enough are looking at what AI can do to you. And Kelly and I have talked a lot about how the positive potential of AI, but AI is an active agent that is learning and it's listening, and it also has many risks. And I think that's why, again, we need to bring out the best in our humanity so we can leverage its potential and overcome some of the risks.
And go beyond.
And go beyond.
Go beyond.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
Thank you both so much. It's been an honor to speak to you both. And thank you so much for your insights to myself and to our viewers. Thank you both.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And on that note, Steve, I'm going to hand over back to you.
Thank you so much, Alpa, and go beyond. So grateful to Kelly and to Jacqueline for stopping by the studio, sharing this inspirational story with us. Truly appreciate it. Keep up the humanness between leadership. Man, couldn't have put it better. Congratulations to both of you on a fantastic center stage session. Right now, we are going to hear from a few of the 18,000 customers and partners who are here with us this week in Amsterdam. When we come back to the studio in just about 60 seconds, Alpa is going to be sitting down with Sarah Walker for a great conversation. Don't go away. Great to have you on the live stream. Away we go.
Cisco Live is amazing.
Cisco Live is very knowledgeable.
Cisco Live is awesome.
Cisco Live is inspiring.
Cisco Live is fun.
Cisco Live is connection.
Creativity.
Massive.
Innovation.
Amazing.
Speezy.
It's wonderful.
Excitement. Energy. Cisco Live is tasty.
Cisco Live is partnerships.
Cisco Live is learning about new technologies.
Cisco Live is the perfect occasion to talk about tech.
And it's a crazy future of the world that we are living every day.
Something for everybody.
Different people, old friends. It's been great. Learned a lot from different sessions.
Highly recommend this event. It's the best community that we can get in our IT world. Cheers.